Get ready to learn about a civilization that became part of many religious traditions nowadays. The Hebrews. This is Teacher Clau and I hope you enjoy it. A long time ago, there were many strong, fierce, and powerful civilizations which disappeared because of invasion and destruction. But there was a small civilization which stood tall, fought, survived, and still exists in our days. The Hebrews, whose origin is written in the oldest and the most read book in history. Do you know what book it is? Yay! It's the Bible. In 1900 BC, Abraham, considered the first Hebrew who lived in the city of Ur, made an agreement with God called Covenant, the Abrahamic Covenant. Do you know what early civilizations believed in? They were polytheists. It means that they believed in many different gods. But now I know you wonder what the covenant was between God and Abraham. I will let you know. Abraham, you and your descendants must believe in only one God and obey Him. In return, I would guide, protect, and give you the promised land. So Abraham obeyed God. He took his wife Sarai together with all his servants and everything he owned. He went to the land God showed him, the land of Canaan. But there was a problem. Some other civilizations were very interested in that territory because that area was fertile and was just between the most powerful kingdoms, Egypt and Babylonia. According to the Bible, many Hebrews moved to Egypt because there was a famine in Canaan. Instead of returning home after getting some food, they stayed in Egypt for a long time. The number of Hebrews living there grew so large that Pharaoh became afraid that the Hebrews will become very powerful. To prevent this, he made Hebrews into slaves. After 400 years of slavery, in 1200 BC, Moses was born. Jochebed, his mother, who was a Hebrew slave, had to put Moses into a basket made of reeds and placed in the Nile River. Miriam, his sister, stood by to watch the baby, and she saw he was rescued from the Nile by the daughter of the Egyptian pharaoh. But why was Moses put in the river? The Pharaoh had decreed all the baby boys would be thrown in the Nile because he feared that they might become powerful. Moses grew up in the house of the ruling Pharaoh and he became a great leader. Moses asked the Pharaoh to let the Israelites leave Egypt. No. God gave Moses miraculous powers, including the ability to cause outbreaks of disease and destruction called plagues. Each time a plague happened, Pharaoh promised to let the Israelites go, but each time he changed his mind. In the 10th and last plague, Moses told the Pharaoh that all the firstborns in the land of Egypt would perish, but he didn't believe and he refused it again. Unfortunately, his firstborn died, and finally, Pharaoh let the Israelites leave Egypt. Moses led the Hebrews out of Egypt. They wandered for 40 years through the desert. According to the Bible, God spoke to Moses and asked him to go at the top of Mount Sinai and gave him the Ten Commandments. When he came down from the mountain, Moses gave the Hebrews the Ten Commandments that had been inscribed on stone tablets. The Hebrews believed that if they obeyed them, they would get God's blessing and protection. Moses couldn't reach Canaan. It was Joshua, the one that guided the Hebrews to the Promised Land.
The Kingdom of Israel.
When the Hebrews reached Canaan, there were many other people living in the area. The Hebrews had to fight to win back their Promised Land. When they won control of their land, the Kingdom of Israel began. Saul was the first king of Israel. He defeated Ammonites and Moabites, but the Philistines was a powerful civilization. Goliath was a Philistine giant. Everybody was afraid of him. A young shepherd named David faced Goliath in a single combat. David put a stone in his sling and threw it. The stone hit Goliath in the center of his forehead and fell to the ground. That's the way David defeated the Philistines. David was a happy man and loved music. After Saul died, he became the king of Israel for 40 years. He also captured the city of Jerusalem and established it as the capital city. After the death of King David, his son Solomon became the king. He was a wise man who brought peace to his people. He is also known as Solomon the Wise King. When Solomon died, the kingdom of the Hebrews was divided. Hebrew people in the north formed the kingdom of Israel. Hebrew people in the south set up the kingdom of Judah. This division weakened the Hebrews. They fought one another for many years. Then, nearby warriors invaded these kingdoms, and finally, the Assyrians controlled the lands of the Fertile Crescent and the Nile River. I hope you liked this video. It is some brief information about the Hebrew people. I'm Teacher Clau, and it's my pleasure to share this video with you. If you like it, please share it. All your comments and likes are always welcome, so keep in touch. If you share it, maybe I could help someone else. See you next time.